Well, hello and welcome back, everyone. Today is Monday, June 27th, 2022, and it's been about a month and a half since I've given a garden update. In fact, the only garden update that I did was about a month and a half ago, I think in mid-May, and that was just after I got everything potted and pulled out. So I want to give an update of what's going on here. Most things got burned up, if you recall from my last update video, and I'll show you some of the damage. I eventually cut everything off, all of the old dried out and just terrible looking fronds, so I'll show you some of that. But so the pygmy date here, Phoenix rubellini, this is my last remnants here of the sunburn, and you can see here it's pretty burnt, but we've already got new growth on it. A couple new spears have pushed out. And that's looking dark green, so we're good to go. I'm happy with that, but yeah, obviously wish it didn't have that little bit of bronze on it. Over here we've got Musabaju banana. This is brand new. I actually was in Big Box the other day, and this was the last one that they had, and it was pretty ratty looking. It had some brown leaves down here, and it hadn't been watered in a long time. So I told him it was dead. I knew what I was looking at. They didn't. I told him it was dead, and I'd buy it from them for $5. I think it was coated out for maybe $14 or $15. They said they could only do half off. So yeah, so I bought this Musabaju for like $7.50, which is amazing. But yeah, people don't know what they're talking about, so you can benefit from that. Here's a giant white bird of paradise that I split off of a 4, and man, it's looked terrible. This thing has always looked terrible. I don't know what's going on with it. We do have some new growth here, but I've had new growth before and it's never amounted to anything, so we'll see. We've got a hibiscus here, which I think is like a double, because every time it comes out, the leaves are like doubled. I'm not sure, but beautiful regardless. I have 2 of those. That's another one. In here with the spindle in the middle, it's just opening up a new frond right now. It's just coming open. So man, this thing is beautiful. So yeah, I cannot reach the top of this thing. That's as high as I can go, and I'm 6 foot, and that's almost on my tiptoes. So that, I don't know where I'm going to put this thing inside, but yeah, man, this is looking beautiful. Sorry for all the background noise today. We got some people working outside, cleaning out bird feeders and stuff like that. Here's another one of those giant white bird of paradises. Again, it looked terrible. It is pushing this new, but I don't know. We'll see. Here's a heliconia. I wrote down the exact type that this is. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but it's starting to open. That's beautiful. Beautiful. Check that out. That's pretty sweet. And I know it has more to go. It's not fully open yet, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, that was 15 bucks. So pretty good. Pretty happy about that. We've got some succulents here. Just 2 of those, 3 of those, my wife's working on those, but lady palm right here, doing pretty good. No issues with that. Here's my next little stand here. Get an overall look at that. And here's another 2-pack of that giant white bird. It's got new growth on it here. And I think I saw one down here. Yeah, there's one that doesn't look like it's gonna work, but I don't know. This thing has just never done good for me. I don't know if it's the soil, too much water, too little water, who knows. Here's the one that I'm most proud of or cognizant of or whatever. But this is Areca Dipsis lutescens, one of my favorite palms. You should have seen. Honestly, it was too embarrassing for me to record. I could not post it. It looks so bad. The whole thing was just completely torched. and I was just sad, and I felt like a bad palm owner. But just this weekend, I got in here and cleaned all the dead out, and this is all that's remaining. I mean, this thing was up to here before I almost defoliated the whole thing, because I brought it straight from a dark corner in the winter that never saw sun to straight into full sun. So that's on me. But man, it's gonna go good now. There's a ton. In fact, I think just about, oh, let me get around here into the light. I think just about every one of these trunks has new growth on it. I mean, there's new growth everywhere. So we're gonna be in a good spot. It's just gonna take a little bit of time to get there, and it'll rebound. It'll rebound. This is a bottle palm. It completely defoliated. Again, straight into the sun. It had 4 fronds on it. I cut every single one of them off because they looked absolutely hideous, and there was no more green, and I just couldn't stand the sight of it. It just was paining me to see it. So this is all that's left. This is obviously a new frond that pushed out since it's been outside, and it prematurely opened. It should have been much higher than this before it opened, but I wanted to make sure that we got some green out here and into the sun to try to start that regeneration process, because they do need some sort of foliage to be able to get going again. So once this was open, I bit the bullet and cut these off. Ridiculous. This looks ridiculous, but it'll rebound and we'll get going. Here's another one that almost completely defoliated, Chinese fan palm, Livingstone chinensis, and it's doing good now. These are all new fronds that have opened. Actually, this one's a split right here, which I just noticed is pretty good. These have all just opened in the past month, and they all actually counted here the other day. Every single one of these trunks has new growth. So I think there's 7 in there, and there's 7 little spears. So yeah, that's gonna be good. And then here, Trachycarpus fortunei, windmill palm. It's doing good as always, no issue. Although I will say this most recent spear that opened right here, it did open up prematurely, so that wasn't good, but it's got one coming behind it, and looks like that's going to be fine. So no issues with that. We'll take a turn over here. The best thing I got going this year, or 2 of the best, are right over here. This red banana. This thing's growing like crazy. Again, this was a $5 one that I kind of bartered with a local store on. Said it was dead and just whacked, and I just realized it's got another beetle on it. Those things, let me zoom in. Oh, yeah, I killed one 2 days ago. I figured there were going to be more. I don't know why my phone's not properly focusing here. Come on, thing. So looks like I'm going to be dealing with those Asian beetles or whatever they're called the rest of the summer. But this thing's growing like crazy. It's just beautiful. Just beautiful. You can see right where he's eating. Get that color. Beautiful. Never had one before, but I'm gonna keep this one and overwinter it, or at least the root system, the ball, whatever it's called. Here's just something my wife bought for $4, so whatever. Kiwi Cordyline's doing good. Majesty, I've got a 4-pack of them. Here's another thing my wife just picked up. I think it was $7 because everything's on sale right now. I think that's a yucca cane, if I'm not mistaken, but it's supposed to be a house plant, but we'll give it a try out here, take it inside. And then in addition to my red banana, the second best thing I've got going right now is this mandevilla. This thing is just taking off. Let me stand back here so you can see it. It's incredible. I just built this cage, or this planter box, this winter. It's 6 feet tall. and realizing that that was not tall enough. And it should have been taller, but this thing, just look at this. The amount of pink on here, and white, and orange, and then of course the green foliage is tropical looking as ever. So pretty. Rocket trumpet, I think, is another one of the common names for this flower, but beautiful. I don't know why my phone's doing this focusing again. And it is dry, dry, dry. So today's Monday. It rained last night for about 10 minutes, but other than that, it has not rained in 2 weeks since we hit. Look at that. There's chipmunks. Those things are the worst. I call them garden terrorists because they just terrorize my gardens and dig holes everywhere. But yeah, so it hasn't rained for 2 weeks, so I've been trying to water like crazy. But how are things going out here? I would say not ideal. I would say not ideal. I've just not been pleased with the growth on really anything. We got 2 callas in the front, and then a ton of cannas, and then 4 bananas going around the back, a couple elephant ears in there. Here's the palms. Sable Minor from Arkansas, Needle Palm from Cleveland by way of South Georgia, and then another Sable Minor from Charlotte, North Carolina. So those are going fine. I mean, you're not going to see much movement on them in a month. Although I did notice this Sable Minor here does have a new spear coming up, which is pretty cool. And the needle's got 2 going, so that's good. But I've just not been impressed by these cannas. And I can't figure it out. Is it too little of sun? Is it the clay soil? Is it too much heat, too little heat, too much water, too little water? I mean, in reality, what I think it is they don't get enough sun. They only get about 3 to 4 hours of full sun, which I'm in that window right now. But they just don't get much sun. So I guess that's the issue. I can't do anything about it. All the trees that remain, which obviously there are a ton of where I live, none of them are mine, and even if they were, I can't afford to cut any more of them down right now. So the bananas are doing okay. They are pushing, but it's just a lot slower than what I would have liked, and I know that bananas can grow really fast. What's interesting about the cannas is they're multiplying, so I know they've got good growth. For instance, when I planted this one, there was 1 plant, and now there's like 4 of them in there. So I know they're doing okay. I just would love to see more height and more blooms. So if you guys have any ideas on that, let me know. But so there's that, and then we've got my other little patch out here. Again, even less sun here, but the bananas are doing the same thing, and really the cannas are too. So it doesn't appear to be maybe it doesn't appear to be a sun issue. But I will say this elephant ear loves this area. This is more shaded. In fact, this is really kind of the most sun that this area gets right now, but that elephant ear loves it. That's the pink China variety that's supposed to be cold hardy to live here as a perennial. So yeah, that's about that. And then my recent addition is to try to get some color back here in the winter time, because as you can imagine, this is just all gray and brown here in the winter. Trying to get some color back here that when I look out I can actually see something. And so I just planted all these yesterday, and in the back we have a cherry laurel. I've never had a laurel, so we'll see how that does. And then over here flanking that, we've got a Cuba gold dust, and I'm so excited about this. I've been wanting some of these for a while, and my local nursery actually had all these. But man, look at this. You want to talk about foliage? Goodness gracious. That is gorgeous. Gorgeous. That's a Kuba Japankoa, I want to say, something like that, but gold dust. Beautiful, beautiful plant. And then right here we have, come on, Foon. Right here we have Yucca Color Guard. And it's still tied up. It's actually still in the pot. I haven't gotten a chance to plant it yet, but that's where it's gonna go. That is going to be completely experimental, not due to heat or cold or anything like that, but simply due to sun. It's not going to get much sun where it is. That has me a little bit nervous because yucca, well, almost all yucca, but especially this one, wants to be in full sun. So that is going to be a little bit interesting, but again, I wanted some color, and these four are going to provide me some good color back here in an otherwise brown and gray landscape. So I'm really excited about that. If the yucca doesn't work, I'll pull it out and put something else in. I don't necessarily need it to thrive. I just need it to kind of be doing its own normal thing, just kind of holding on. I'd be fine with that. But yeah, very, very little sun back here. In the wintertime, there actually will be more sun because there's no leaves on the trees. So, but yeah, that's gonna be a pretty cool look there. So that's where I stand with everything. I do have two more additions, which I will go. Here's another. This was on sale, end of the spring sale at my local nursery. One of those Pretoria cannas, and $6. $6 for that. So put one over here next to my garage. That way I can kind of ensure its survival. And yeah, so that'll be good. Right there next to the Lenten Rose and some ferns along with some holly. Now this is along my house. And again, these things were $6. I figured, how could I not get one? Throw it behind these azaleas, right up next to the house, so should have no issues with that one coming back at all. So just tuck those in there. I figured for $6, why not? And then here's two that I'm working on right here. These are both Mexican fan palms, Washingtonia robusta. And I keep them in here as like my little hot house. I've got a cover for it too, but yeah, so they're doing pretty good. I think this one was pushing a new spear I thought I saw. Who knows? I think that one is too, right down there. So yeah, just dug those out of the ground in Orlando a year ago. And that's all I've gotten so far. And then here we have some native wildflowers, some Shasta daisies. Beautiful. So those are starting to come on. Got a whole slew of them here. I fence them in with this nylon rope and these little stakes because they get really unruly and then they fall over and they don't look good. So I'm trying to maintain a good structure to them. But yeah, there's gonna be a ton of daisy blooms here in a little bit.